Hi, this is Shelley Mitchell with Bold Impact Events and Wedding Planners. Thanks for visiting us and checking out this venue. Now, I look a little old to be a wedding planner, but that's okay. This was supposed to be the second part of my life, fun thing to do, and it grew very quickly. I started off as a business coach, working with clients, and then teaching them how to put on their own events, conferences, seminars, and speaking to be able to promote their business and grow their business. Well, one day, one of my friends decided she was going to get married, and I was volunteering at the VA, and she worked there, so I offered to do it for her, and I fell in love. I had already put on several weddings before, but I realized, hey, this is something I'm really interested in doing. Once we got started, because of my background and my experience in finance and budgeting and putting on events, we grew very quickly. And now we have a pretty big team, and I'm just really the captain of the ship, which it's a big ship, and it's an amazing ship that you'll love to be a part of. So I want to get started and show you some of our steps to planning a successful wedding. So these are the 5 secrets of planning the wedding of your dreams. These are the exact steps used by an expert, successful wedding planning and design and coordination team. Those are all the people who are on our team. So this is a roadmap that I put together to help you understand exactly how we plan a wedding and how most people should plan a wedding. There's a huge problem out there. There are people who are out there who are downloading lists from websites. They're going out and buying some books, and that's great. You're going to get a very all-inclusive list a lot of times, but what people don't realize is step number 1 is plan it. There's no one size fits all. Most of our clients, actually 100% of our clients, are smart, educated, very career-driven and focused. They'd love to have a $100,000 wedding, but they'd also like to have a house as soon as they're growing with their lives. So they're on a budget. Whether you're on a $10,000 budget or a $100,000 budget, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a budget, and we want to plan a wedding in accordance with that. Also, our weddings are really bright and educated, like I said, and it's not that they can't plan a wedding, they just don't have the time. A lot of times too, we're also hired by mother of the grooms and mother of the brides. And the stories that I hear is, well, I planned it for my last child and I will never do that again. I want to be the hostess with the mostess this time. I want to get dressed up and enjoy myself, and I don't want to be stressed out. So here's the thing. If you don't hire a wedding planner or a coordinator, someone has to do it. So it's either going to be a friend or a relative or your mom or even you, which is going to cause a significant amount of stress. Someone has to do it. It's not going to be the venue, even if they say they have a day of coordinator, because those people manage the venue, not all the wedding planning processes. So again, plan it is step 1, and that's where we create a plan first before we get started. A lot of times people will print out a list and just start checking away. That's not what we want to do. We want to create a plan that's based on your life, your vision, the type of wedding you want to put on, the type of relationship that the two of you have, so we can incorporate those personal traits and hobbies and interests that you have to make it personal. We're also dealing with a lot of multicultural weddings these days, and in my opinion, 20 years from now, we're not going to have anything. I think we're going to have all multicultural, religious, and all types of weddings like that. So we're dealing with that. Some weddings last 3 to 5 days. Some last only a few minutes. And also with COVID going on now, we've had to make a lot of changes. So we're also doing micro weddings and also multifunction weddings. So micro weddings is where we have made it much smaller for in-person events, and we're doing live stream for those people who couldn't make it or don't feel comfortable traveling. And then the multifunction wedding is where we do the ceremony now, we live stream that, and then as things come to more of not an understanding, but become more normal, whatever that new normal is, then we have a reception. It might be a year later or however long, but they're split up. We're still going to have the big party, but we're getting married now because we can't wait. So that's where it comes to planning, and you want to make sure that it works around your life, your schedule, your career, etc. Also, it needs to all be in one place. One checklist shouldn't be in your bedroom, one in the car, notes on the back of the envelope, some on your phone. You're working off the Knot website or Wedding Wire website, but those are also one size fits all. Second, step two, before you move any further, do not pass go or collect $200. Step two is budget it. So after plan it is now budget it. There are so many times that I do a consultation with a client on the phone and I ask them what their budget is and they don't know. They said, I don't know, I have to add it up. Excuse me one second, let me just put this up here real quick. They said, I don't know, I have to add it up. Well, what that means is they've already spent a boatload of money at that point. Usually when I talk to parents, they know what the budget is. So again, everyone has a budget, whether it's $10,000 or $100,000, it doesn't matter. But to create that budget, you need to know where all of your money sources are coming from. Those money sources are, is it you and your fiance that's paying for all or much of the wedding? Then where's that going to come from? Is it savings? Is it money you're going to put away between now and the wedding date? Is it credit cards? Is it gifts? Do we have family members contributing? If they say they're going to contribute to one particular thing, then let's budget it and get that clarified. If our clients need help with narrowing that down because it's an uncomfortable conversation, we can do it for them because it's something we do all the time. But you want to make sure that we budget it, that we know exactly what the total is that you feel comfortable spending. Like I said, some people might want to get a house and some people, this might be the biggest dream they've ever had and they're going to spend every penny they want for that amazing day. And without a budget, it is guaranteed every time that you will spend more than you could possibly ever imagine. So now step three, systematize it and checklist it. So now most people print out that list, they start checking it off and so on, but you need a system. It needs to be automated and today everything needs to be online. People my age and even further back used to carry around big binders and magazines and check it all off. But here's the thing, it was all in one place. So when you have personalized checklists with assignments that you can assign to your fiance or other people who are helping you with your wedding, a connected calendar that ties into those assignments and the due dates, even the due dates of payments to vendors, when they're all tied together and they show up on your calendar, it makes it so much easier. You don't have to worry about where that list was. We also have these tools for you, forms for requests for proposals. So that way, when you send this out, you're getting back quotes and proposals that are the same, not just, hey, I'm looking for your package, and then a vendor or photographer or DJ or someone sends you their package. Maybe I don't need a 6-hour package. Maybe I need 7.5, or maybe I don't need 9. Maybe I need 7.5. So we want to get prices on what we need, no more and no less. Then after this, I have to tell you, well, step 4 is vision it. Most couples are planning 2 weddings and they don't even realize it. There is a Pinterest wedding and a real life wedding. So having a centralized location like we have, such as our design center, is going to help you be able to create your inspiration board and your vision board, and we'll be able to identify a distinct trend. We can categorize everything, whether it's going to be the attire, cake, florals, the venue, and so on. Make sure that we can get all of your potential vendors on the same page, because we can send them the particular design board for that topic or vendor type so they can look at it and they can see what that vision is, versus you emailing or texting photos or bringing them in with you. We just send this out and get it right back. This is one of the reasons we've been able to plan weddings all over the country without even leaving the computer, because we've got all this information. And we had to if we were going to do that. Also, when we get everybody on the same page, you're going to end up with a final design board that works for your real lives, but it still incorporates that amazing dream and vision that you have for your wedding. Then step 5, and I think this is where a lot of people drop the ball, and I know this is where my couples have one of their biggest fears, is that things won't go the way they wanted it to. Certain vendors may not show up. Things won't be organized. Things will start late, and so on. I hear it every single time I talk to couples. So with Timeline It and Coordinate It, I have to tell you, the secret to our success is our detailed play-by-play timeline we have created, which keeps every single vendor, every single venue, if you have more than one, depending on where the ceremony is, and all of the coordinators, the bridal party and wedding party, and everyone all on the same page. So as a team, we can all create the most amazing wedding day and wedding weekend that you've wanted for your entire life. So I want to go through a little bit of the people who are involved in the wedding planning. Who does what? There are types of different wedding planning professionals. One that's not showing here is the venue coordinator. They call themselves the day of coordinator or the event coordinator. It's very different than what we do. We work hand in hand with those people. A lot of venues, some of them are more involved than the others. There's some that they're completely hands off and they want you to handle everything, or there's some that they'll kind of pick up your stuff and box it up at the end of the night, which I think is really cool because that helps us out. And I've even been to a couple of venues who will run rehearsal for you, but it's very few and far between. So you need a wedding coordinator to work together with the day of or venue coordinator to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. The venue coordinator does not manage your timeline. They do not say when somebody comes in to start the ceremony and key the DJ and then knows when cake cutting is and what items go where for your personal items. So for us, the types of wedding planning professionals that we have is a wedding planner who does everything before the wedding to work with the vendors. We do all of the research. We make sure that you get the best vendors and so on. Put it all together, present the quotes, and help you make very educated decisions on who you're going to work with throughout this wedding planning journey. A wedding designer, we have one of those on our team as well, and I'm IWED certified, which is International Wedding and Event Design, are people who are able to see your vision, bring all of those ideas that you have in your head and on your iPhone, and put them all together to help create a primary vision and inspiration, and then start branching it out into the things that you really want and really need. And then where you ultimately come up with a design board or a design plan, and then they help implement it by coordinating all the vendors to do what they need to do and also get involved in doing that as well. Then there is a wedding coordinator. They typically aren't involved in all of the stuff we just talked about. They put together the timeline though. These are the ones who get really down and dirty and work really hard. You would never know it because they're dressed very professionally and have perfect lipstick and everything will look like it just magically happened that way. But they're working very hard that day, following the timeline, working with every single vendor, managing the energy in the room. I tell clients all the time, if your mom and your Uncle Bob are doing the limbo and it's time for cake cutting, I'm not going to do cake cutting right now. I'm going to let the DJ know and the venue, we're going to give it 10 more minutes just to see how that's going. And then we do the cake cutting when that kind of dies down. Also, if everybody looks kind of bored and they're not doing the limbo or out there dancing and having a great time, I'll push up cake cutting or something like that. So really things like small things like that, only an experienced wedding coordinator will be able to manage the energy of the event in the room and make things flow exactly as they should. There are different wedding planner service types, and the largest one, or the best one in my opinion, is full planning. You have full planning where we do everything for you. All you have to do is make decisions, and you have to work on your small to-do lists, such as ask your bridesmaids to be bridesmaids, since we can't really do that for you. But if you need us to schedule your dress fitting, we'll do it for you and put it in your calendar. But we plan everything. We do all of the research. We collect all of the quotes. We present the best options to you. We create and manage the budget and so on. I'm not going to go into the entire list, but I'm happy to give that to you later on. Partial planning, which seems to be very popular these days, I call the teamwork package. That's where we work together as a team. You're planning your wedding, but we are holding your hand the entire time. We give you access to all of our tools, our forms, our resources. We help create them for you. We meet on a regular basis, and you have unlimited access to our team and communications. You even have a joint text string with all of us as well. Then there's partial planning and coordination, which for us is the same thing. There are some planners that only do planning and there's some that only do coordination. Partial planning and coordination is where we do both, where we are there for the entire wedding weekend and put it all together for you. And then there's month of wedding management. Some people call it day of coordination, and those are typically new wedding planners who don't have the experience, because they'll quickly realize that you can't do day of coordination or even weekend without getting involved prior to the wedding, checking all the contracts, working with all the vendors, coordinating them, creating the timeline, which takes many, many hours to do, and really knowing your stuff before you even drive off to get involved with the wedding. That way, when you get there as the coordinator, you own it. You know what's going on better than anybody else, and you've got this covered. That way, the bride, all she has to do is get up that morning, have a cocktail if she drinks, have her hair and makeup done, and then get ready for pictures. She shouldn't even have to worry where her purse is, because we're going to take care of everything. What we offer, things that we can do for you, is support services for amazing wedding. We can do venue research and selection and find the perfect venue for you. Some of the criteria that you need to look into when you are searching for a venue, and if you're looking for a venue and waiting to hire a wedding planner after that, I recommend that you don't do that, because they may have experience with a venue that's great or not great that you will never know about. And they also may have a foot in where they can negotiate certain things that you wouldn't be able to. But before you do select a venue, you need to know what your theme is going to be, what your guest list is, what your budget is for sure, what type of guest experience you want to have for your guests, and what is included with the venues. There was this one venue that I thought was deathly expensive. I could not understand why everybody was going and having their wedding there until I went there, and I realized they included everything. Everything was off your plate. You even got to pick out what centerpieces you had, what chargers you had, what linens, everything. Everything was just left up to you to pick out. You didn't have to deal with all these extra vendors. So it turned out that it was actually a really good deal. Most venues are not like that, but we can put together that best experience for you and for your guests. Vendor management. This is one of the toughest things to do, is to hire the right vendors in the wedding industry. Not all of them are great business people. Most of them are creatives, and they are wonderful at what they do, but not very good business people. Some are, but many of them are not. So we manage them. We'll review the agreements. We'll make sure that the contracts include things that you need to have in there, because the contracts are always going to cover them. But we also want to know what the backup plan is. We want to make sure that when you hire a photographer, that all of your digital reprint rights are in there. If they weren't, you'd end up having to pay thousands of dollars to get copies of your photo after the wedding, and you wouldn't even know that until after the wedding. So us managing the vendors and helping you find the right ones, scheduling them, making it seamless and really easy to work with is what exactly what we do. Here's some things that we can do for you that may or may not be included in packages, but it's vendor and venue research, access to our preferred vendors, which one thing different about us than any other wedding planner company is we do not accept undisclosed commissions or bonuses from other vendors. Now, almost all wedding planners do, and that's okay. That's the industry. We just don't do it. And if someone offers something to us, I'll usually ask for that in exchange for a discount for our clients instead. We want to build good relationships with people who make us look good and make you look good, not because they're going to give us a bonus. We also have requests for proposal templates that we've created to ensure that you're going to get apples to apples and exactly what you want and need with those quotes and proposals that come back. No more, no less, as I talked about the hours earlier. We're going to do quote and proposal analysis for you to make sure that everything you need is included, and they're not really throwing in extra stuff you don't need, that we can actually save you money in that area by taking it out. We'll also do best price negotiation. A lot of vendors will negotiate with us before they will with a couple or a bride, because they want to do more business with us, and we're great for doing that. We're great and happy to do that, excuse me. Room blocks and transportation management. We have mastered this. We have a system, access to systems that we can send out many requests for quotes to negotiate room blocks for you. And without going into too much detail, we do negotiate courtesy room blocks, which is where you're not responsible for anything that didn't get rented. It falls back into the market. We do design, decor consultation, and planning. Definitely do budget management and tracking. We also do guest list and RSVP management, where we help you put your guest list together. We even track your RSVPs as well and keep that on the website. We keep you on track in the right order and focus only on the right things. So a lot of people can stay on track, or a lot of people can stay in the right order, but keeping on track and staying in the right order and also focus only the things that need to be focused on is really hard to do. And we're really good at keeping you on that path. Vendor management, so you don't have to, especially that last 30 days when you're getting 30 phone calls a day, we're going to start fielding that so you can focus on the little personal things and spending time with your wedding party and all of the people that are in your family and your guests. Also, a complete and detailed timeline for your entire wedding weekend. We plan that entire thing out. We do it together with you. And we're not dictators either. We send it out to the vendors and we ask for their feedback just to make sure that we've scheduled enough time for them to be doing their magic or working their magic. And then we take that into consideration to finalize it. We'll work at the venue as well to make sure we've got the right time for the salad. We'll also do we'll lead and manage your rehearsal and make sure that everybody is going in the right direction and we're all practiced up for the next day. And also any other wedding events that you have, we can lead and do those for you. And you have unlimited access and communications with our team throughout the entire process. And there's much, much more that we can do for you as well. So the first thing you're going to do is, once you to create a plan, is going to be to set a budget, set a date and location, discuss between the two of yourselves if you are flexible on the date and location, because oftentimes a venue may have a date that they haven't rented yet or sold yet, and they might be willing to offer a discount to move your wedding from a Saturday to a Sunday. Are you willing to do something like that? If not, that's okay. We just know exactly what those parameters are. But if so, that's okay too, because we know how to go forward from there. Also, you're going to start narrowing down your options based on that plan that we created and everything that you wanted and needed. We do concept design as well. I'm not going to go into a lot of this. We can talk about that in a separate video, but we take your wedding theme and create a concept with that. We do design and decor consultations, plus full planning and execution of all of that as well. Wedding budget management. So this is really what we're great at. My background is 30 years in corporate, where I put together over 150 multi-million-dollar budgets every single year and monitored them and did the variance reports for them and reported to many, many national and public organizations, private organizations, and asset managers and investors as well. So budgets are my thing. I can do them blindfolded, but I have simplified it into a way that's going to work exactly for you. But I could literally, if I had no checklist or nothing at all, I could manage your entire wedding through the budget that we have created, because it has everything in it that you could possibly even spend money on. So we make sure that we don't forget things. One of the reasons why people go over budget is because they don't realize they're going to have to pay for parking for the vendors at the event, or that the wedding dress is going to have to be cleaned and restored within 10 days after the event, which is anywhere from $200 to $300. They don't realize that they don't even calculate stamps in there for their wedding invitations. So we have everything in there. We even have a line item for flowers for your pet if your pet's going to be in the wedding. And if we don't spend it, that's great. We put zeros in there and we move on with our lives. We have an exclusive online client portal, so you can access this entire portal through your cell phone, your smartphone, or laptop or desktop at any time, anywhere, any place. So I can pull something up as I'm riding down the road for you if you need to know something, and you can do the same as well. There are some tips for savvy spending. But number one is going to be know who's contributing, which we talked about. So I want to make sure that you know that. Know who's contributing. Then we're going to set a ballpark based on the information that we have. Make a guest list and count. So put those people on the list as list A, or the people that you cannot imagine ever getting married without that person. Then you have those people that you have to invite, or mom's going to be mad or something like that. Then you have your list B, your people that you're close to, but if you had a limited amount of space, they would understand, and so on. And then it goes out based on how close you are to somebody, when the last time it is that you talked to them, and so forth. So we make multiple lists and categorize them so you can make educated decisions when selecting a venue and also working with your budget. we set priorities. I actually do that during our complimentary consultation that we do together, that setting the priorities. So I can refer back to that list anytime during our journey and remind you that you said, yeah, you didn't really want a videographer. Are you sure you want to do this upgrade with a photographer? And if you are, great, but it's my job to remind you of what your priorities were so you can make, again, educated decisions. And then, or you could be like, yeah, you're right, I'm getting all wrapped up in the hoopla right now. Research your options. One of the things we do for our clients is research all the options. But if you don't have a wedding planner or you're doing month of coordination with us, it's really important to research all of your options. Google the vendor. Make sure they don't have on the second page of Google testimonials or reviews that are poor. I have a client that just hired us recently, and she said she was having problems with her photographer not responding. We were not involved in this at all, but she had gone onto Wedding Wire or The Knot, one of those, and saw that multiple people had posted that they could not reach him, and they thought that he had sold his equipment in the middle of COVID due to cash flow issues. And there was also a wedding he didn't show up to. So do your research before you hire somebody and make sure that they're the right person for you. Also, you want to have apples to apples estimates with actual costs and be able to compare those apples to apples. If one photographer sends you a bid for our package for 8 hours and it does not include the grand exit, but it does include first look, and another one sends you for 7.5 hours, but you really need 7 or 8 or 9, or it doesn't matter, and you do want a first look or you don't want a first look and all of those things, you need to have 2 quotes that are exactly the same so you can compare and decide which one is going to be best for you and which one fits your budget. So the highest happiness on earth is the happiness of marriage. And you're getting ready to find that out, which is going to be really cool. And I'm excited that we could potentially be on this journey with you. So if you're ready to get started, take advantage of our free consultation. It's about an hour with me or one of our top wedding planners and strategists. You can go to our website at boldimpactevents.com and schedule that, or you can call or text us at 561-320-1517. Thanks so much and have a great day. We look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.